One thing is for certain, there is no stopping them. The ants will soon be here. And I, for one, welcome our new insect overlords. Like to remind them that
I've got a 5-year deal here.
Okay, we're back. It's the last segment. We have tips to come, but we will kick off with two things that have happened in the last 24 hours. That is the 6 again rule has been widened in its powers, Cocksmith.
Yep.
Basically, if the markers get up to no good, which, as we have both observed in the last little while, and I don't know which, I think it may have been Bennett, actually, who came out in the press on Friday, or Thursday after the loss to Penrith, and
Right.
he just said it's ridiculous. The markers just are not even trying, and they're not even trying because it slows the ability of the dummy half to get out of there and take advantage of the 6 again calls.
I agree.
So you're in favour of these powers being expanded?
I'm in favour of them enforcing them if they do. I mean, it's always a little bit dangerous to give referees too much power because power and ego, they go hand in hand quite often. And we have known of times when referees let the ego blow the whistle for them.
Mm-hmm.
I hope if they police it correctly, great. I think it's awesome. I think it's really good. I think that they need to be aware, game aware of what would benefit the team that haven't infringed more. Would it be a penalty right now? Are we 15, 20 meters out right in front? Or are we,
Ding, ding.
right over on the other side of the field? And I think that this would benefit, all those things have to go through their mind. And I know the referee's got a lot of stuff going through their mind, but I would like to see them have a go at it. And if it doesn't work, the only weird thing for me, and it's still the way it was and has been for the last few years, when we get to Golden Point, we're not seeing too many more 6 agains, okay? And we're not seeing a whole lot of penalties. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating because the teams that are defending usually are the ones that will break the rules on purpose. Professional fouls is what it's called, and to either hamper a drop goal or to diffuse an attack or something like that. So yeah, we're still seeing that, and I love it when the referees put them on the line and blow a penalty, or will go the 6 again in extra time. But yeah, give them. I say give it to them to try. I mean, we're not at the pointy end of the season yet. Hopefully, we get all this ironed out and not too many teams lose because of what might be or might not be a bad decision that their seasons are hinging on. But hey, I like it. I think give them a go. I do like what the referees have been doing mostly to date with that 6 to go. I think it actually adds to the game. It's doesn't give the opposition a chance to argue. It makes the game faster. And I think the fans, from the most of the ones that I've heard about anyway, they're liking the 6 to go rule. So what are your thoughts?
Got two things to say. One's a reaction and one is hopefully a proactive thought. First one is, how did it come that we would get these extra powers to the referee and these correct extra powers to the referee? How did they get enforced when we took one referee away? That's what I can't understand. We've added more things on the shoulders of one referee than we ever have, yet we took one away when we had the chance to make all these decisions in the last 10 years when we've had 2 referees. That's the thing that's part of this thing that I just don't understand. I don't not understand. I like that it's in play, but it took 10 years to work out that we can give the referees more power.
Great question. But do you think that the game is better now with 1 referee or before with 2? I think, okay, let me tell you.
They've fixed the wrestle to a degree, and I love that. But I said this on the ones we did, the evaluation and the analysis. These rules with 2 referees would have been just as effective, I believe, if they'd had the ability to enforce them like they have.
I always think to myself, the biggest problem with the 2 referee system was I always think that they're looking at the game differently, okay? And there's a lot of maybe conflict between the two referees. They'll tell you that they did it like a team because all they've ever wanted to do was be in a team. Those blokes, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. Or a winger. Yeah.
But in saying that, I just think it's so much better, especially the good. I think the good referees have gotten even better. And most of the good ones are still refereeing. The ones that may not have been up to scratch are now, waving a flag. But I think, the young referee or the younger referees like Grant Atkins, I mean, he's coming into his own.
I like him.
Yeah, I do.
They're my favourite too.
Who's that? Him and
Checken?
Yep. I actually even like the way Ashley Klein's been refereeing lately.
That's all we have time for tonight here on Not the Footy Show. That's been Robb Cox, and he's shutting up right now.
Ricky loves Ashley Klein.
Oh, I can't stand him. Anyway, but to go back to you made an interesting comment. You said the team thing. I actually think that's where the two referee system let itself down. I always picked up that they were always, oh, you do it. No, you make the next. You do the next step. Oh, you do this. You do this. You do this.
A little bit of that.
It was never one bloke just took control, or one lady took control and went, "This is how we're going to referee this game. Are you with me? Let's go and do it." I never got that impression.
Especially in grand finals where they'd pick the two best referees.
Sorry, my arm. That's a side gag.
The two best referees were together.
Yep.
The two best referees were together, and who was the boss? They're both senior referees, so it was always a little bit of not a power struggle. I mean, you never saw them arguing on the field, but there was always that underlying, I thought, tension over who was the lead referee. I would have thought it would just be good to keep the same. If they're going to be teams, give them the same 4 every week and live and die by your performances.
And that's why going to one referee and saying, here's all those things you can decide, I think has been good. I'm 100% with you.
Yep.
Their ability to monitor the last 10 minutes of a close game is a lot poorer than it should be.
But it's always been like that too.
It's always been like that. And this is where this decision to use the markers worries me, because that is traditionally the hardest thing. It's the last thing they're thinking of, which has been clear as day the last 7 weeks, last 5 weeks, which is that coaches have gone, what's the one thing they're going to miss? Markers. They've worked it out. And this is where I go, I don't long for the days of 2 referees. I'm not saying that. I just think if you'd had 2 referees and they had the same power in their pocket that they do now, 2 might have been good.
I know.
The proactive element. Yep.
But I'll tell you what, it is smart, isn't it, by the coaches to kind of probably give the message to the players that, listen, if you don't have to be square, you don't have to touch them. And this is the point. They don't actually have to do anything. They'll stop a dummy half from running if they're not square. And the dummy half won't run if they're not square. So not too many dummy halves are running into unsquare markers at the moment because they're probably afraid to not afraid, but apprehensive about coming out and running into 2 front rowers who aren't square. So, even though the markers aren't really impeding anything directly, passively they are because of their appearance, of their presence of being, side by side rather than front to back. So pretty smart coaching. Most coaches are pretty smart at getting things like that done. But hopefully we'll see.
To you. Would you prefer unsquare markers or wrestle? As the prevailing thing you allow.
Unsquare markers.
Same here. Going to the proactive part of this, we have 2 touch judges. Please let them police the 10. And I mean police the 10. I mean, if the guy is offside, I don't care what you got to do. Throw something on the referee in the head, chuck an orange at his head. You've got to make yourself heard, because if that doesn't happen, if the referee is looking at wrestle in the ruck, if he's looking at who's playing the ball correctly, Andrew Fafita, not doing that. If they're looking at markers going not square at the play the ball, the thing that's now going to drop away is going to be the 10 and the enforcement of the 10. So touch judges, you actually have a role, and I really hope that the Landys and Project Apollo, whoever's doing these decisions, has really looked at this hard, because they've got to be vocal and demanding that penalties be called. And this is the danger the NRL has. We know that they made their big stand 2 or 3 years ago with penalties. It's going to happen. Now you've taken away what the coaching fraternities worked out is the wiggle room. If you've taken that away, there's going to be a lot of penalties /6 again. They're going to be more than there's been in this weekend of rugby league.
Yeah.
You have to stand firm. And the way you do that, on my view, is you make those touchies useful. You really do. Instead of just worrying about whether a guy went out or not, or whether it should be referred upstairs for a try, empower them and just say, no, it's on the touchy. They made the call. And live with that, rather than it's been that poor one referee who ends up looking at the thing he's given away 15 6 agains and 20 penalties.
The easiest way is to have them, at the moment we can hear nearly everything the referee says. He might be down in volume a little bit, but have the touchies on as well. Have the touchies up in the mix, and so we can hear them. If they're yelling, he's offside, then the referee should be taking notice of him and blowing a penalty without even looking. He just told me these were offside.
Great.
So, and
there's
then
the two
they
things.
can drive on it. Yep.
Not the Footy show.